Hello. Like I say hello, like, the same way every time.
Right? I mean, that's your thing. That's how you say things.
Hello.
And welcome back.
Good morning coffee.
Yes,
Well, dark roast.
kinda. Yes. Hi guys, welcome back to Dark Roast. And wow, let's get into this one. This one's a kind of a long one. I'm gonna be reading a lot of it.
Okay.
Um, so, but this one's for all you people who like to go hiking. Scary.
Go for
So it's 2014, and then this is Lisa
2014?
Ann 2014, yeah. So pretty recent, 6 years?
No, that's okay. I think one of the comforts of these other stories,
Yeah.
they're so far back, so it's almost kind of like, okay, story time, but 2014 is still pretty recent. So, all right. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. So Lisa Ann Froon, who was 22 at the time, was described as aspiring, optimistic, intelligent, and a passionate volleyball player. And then Chris Kremers was 21, and she was also open, creative, and responsible person. Both grew up in Amersfoort. So this is in Amsterdam, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they Froon had just graduated from college, and then in September, the previous September, Kremers had just graduated. I'm gonna actually call them Lusanne and Chris just because I feel it's weird calling them by the last names,
Okay.
but it's just how I'd written the sentence, and I keep going. But so they had actually no. I'm gonna stick with what I wrote. Sorry. um, and Kramers had just graduated that past September, so they had both recently graduated, and they had just spent 6 months planning their trip to Panama, which is supposed to serve as a like part vacation and then a part a mission trip where they would go around and then learn Spanish and then help kids who are I guess like learning, and so they'd be tutoring and volunteering and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and so Kremers and Froon arrived in Panama for a 6-week vacation on March 15th, 2014. They toured Panama for 2 weeks before arriving in Bucket on March 29th to live with a local family for a month while volunteering with the children.
Mhm.
On April 1st, they went hiking with their host's family's dog around 11 a.m. Near the clouded forest that surrounded the Barro volcano, which is not far from Bucket. And they had actually written on their Facebook that they were going to walk around Bucket and then they were going to have brunch with some two Dutchmen who were also on the trail that they were going to go on.
Mhm.
Their host kind of became alarmed when their dog returned home that night without the young woman. Yeah, and then Fern's parents stopped receiving text messages, which like both of the women had been constantly like keeping a dialogue with the parents to make sure everything was okay. You know how you would do.
Mhm.
Um, and then on April 2nd, Kremers and Froon missed an important meeting that they had with a local tour guide.
Mhm.
So the day before, they had gone to this tour guide and asked them to show them around. And he said, "Well, I can't do it today, but I'll come back tomorrow and I can take you on the tour. And then if you guys want, you guys can stay here on my ranch the night, just so like everything's set up." But they had left and they went on this hike by themselves. And so once this happened, the host family decided to alert the authorities. And then on April 3rd, the authorities began aerial search of the forest, and then local residents within the forest started searching as well. And then on April 6th, the parents of Kremers and Froon arrived in Panama along with police, dog units, and detectives from the Netherlands to conduct a full-scale search of the forest for 10 days. Their parents also offered a $30,000 reward for any information.
Wow.
Days turned to 2 weeks, and after 10 weeks, there had not been any sign of Kremers or Froon. 10 weeks.
Whoa.
Yeah. Then, as police started to slow their search efforts, a local woman turned in Froon's blue backpack, which she said she had found in a rice paddy by a riverbank near her village at Alto Romero in the Bocas de Toro region. She said that she was sure she hadn't seen the backpack the day before, and so that backpack had just arrived there. The backpack contained two pairs of sunglasses, $83 in cash, Froon's passport, a water bottle, a camera, two bras, and the woman's phones. All were packed, dry, and in good condition. So that means that that backpack wasn't in the water.
Okay.
So the women's phones show that some hours after the start of their hike, someone had dialed 112, which is the emergency, like an emergency number, like an international one,
Mhm.
and 911 multiple times. None of the calls had gone through due to a lack of reception in the area except for one 911 call attempt on the April 3rd that lasted for over a second before breaking up. Yeah, after April 5th, Froon's phone battery became exhausted and after 5 p.m. was never used again. The phones had remained in service for almost 10 days after the women disappeared. Over just 4 days, 77 separate attempts have been made to call the police, both via 112, which is that emergency number, and 911. So using the local call logs, police were able to come up with like a timetable and outline of what happened while the girls were in the missing in the forest.
Mhm.
Police also discovered on April 6th several unsuccessful attempts were made to unlock one of the phones with an incorrect PIN, and
I
it never received the correct number again.
okay.
By April 11th, both phones were dead. And so this sounds really disturbing, right?
Yes.
But nothing is compared to the camera.
No, okay, hold on.
Okay,
Hold on. What?
question.
I just got a lot of
You,
those. Okay.
sorry.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
let me know when you're ready.
Happy thoughts. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, this one's a lot of reading because it's a full story,
It's
but
good.
yeah, okay. So Froon's camera contained photos from April 1st where the women had taken a trail to overlook at the Continental Divide, and then some hours before their first attempt to reach 911. You could see like pictures of the wilderness that were taken.
Mhm.
Um, so like before that call, there was nothing like unusual. Everything seemed normal as you would take photos when you're hiking.
Mhm.
Then on April 8th, 90 flash photos were taken between 1 and 4 a.m., apparently in the deep jungle and near complete darkness. A few photos show that they were possibly near a river or a ravine. Some show a twig with a plastic bag and candy wrappers on top of a rock. Another shows what looks like toilet paper and a mirror on another rock. And another shows the back of Kremer's head with blood leaking from her temple. After investigating the area where the backpack had been found, police uncovered Kremer's clothing neatly folded along the edge of the river. 2 months later, in the same area, a pelvic bone and a foot still inside a boot were found. Soon after that, the bones of both women were discovered. Lisa Ann Froon's bones looked as though they had decomposed naturally, and Kremer's bones were stark white and looked as if they had been bleached. A, a Panamanian forensic anthropologist later claimed that under magnification, there were no discernible scratches of any kind on bones, neither of natural nor cultural origin. Uh, there are no marks on the bones at all. So this indicates that like none of the animals were kind of scavenging the bones and stuff. And so police questioned locals, tour guides, and other hikers who had been in the area at that time, but nothing besides the photos and call logs provided them any evidence as to what happened. So there is no evidence to determine cause of death. And to this day, their disappearance and deaths are still a mystery.
Oh my god.
Right?
That's the longest I've had chills, like consistently. And
And it wasn't,
mm.
yeah, but oof, that
So
one always gets me because you don't know what happened, like at all. Yeah. So there's people who like think it was kind of a murder, so it was also a serial killer. Or
mhm.
some it was just like a natural thing where, you know, one of them had a head injury, so she died and kind of just floated through the river. And then there was some suggesting that like they had like drowned in the river,
Mhm.
but like a lot of the locals there was like they're saying that it's kind of impossible because usually when that happens, because it's a river that they call, I think it was like the serpent because the weight, like the current is so strong, and so a lot of people drown there. And so they were like, what we usually see if that happens is the body that they find is intact, and it's never like scattered, which was how the girls were found. Like their bones were scattered all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, well, what happened? No one really knows.
Had to have been someone, especially if everything was like nicely folded,
Hmm.
everything was placed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that's because they went on the tour without a tour guide, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that, people. You don't know the
Yeah.
area. Oh,
Yeah, I
mm-mm.
mean the hike was supposed to be around 4 hours long, but even locals in the like that area say that they don't go past a certain point because it's so dangerous and like under certain conditions. And then the only bad thing was that that point where people are like, don't go past this was never marked. So you don't know
Uh,
unless you're with somebody who knows the area.
ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Well, I guess that wasn't very smart of me to do this at night because I wanted to sleep.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody we
Well,
know.
I guess this is also a PSA to people who like to hike and travel
Yeah.
and all of that. Like, you got to be careful, man. I know adventure is life, but whew,
I mean, it's also, I mean, they weren't like inexperienced. They had like a lot of experience. Like they were like physically fit, and then they had experience like traveling by themselves and then like hiking. And
that's
so they had everything planned. So this was kind of
that's the scary part.
completely unexpected.
Exactly. The fact that people, it always happens to experienced people. I mean, if
Yeah.
that's the case, then it was definitely out of the norm. That is that is wow. Oh,
Yeah. And like my thing is always be prepared, like no matter what, because they hadn't really taken very much because they were obviously like, this is just a quick trip. This isn't going to be a super like intense hike. And so they didn't take like extra batteries for their flashlights or a flashlight, you know. And
mhm.
so my thing is always like, I always have my flashlight, my phone, and then charger for that phone in case it ever dies.
Mm.
And so like I try to be prepared no matter what. Like okay, if I fall down the side of this cliff and I somehow survive, what can I do to make my life to survive the longest possible? I mean, it's probably not great to think of the worst thing that could happen,
Yeah.
but
But
in order to survive,
híjole.
yeah. But then that's if it was just like they just got lost and something happened, you know what I mean? There's also the idea if what if this had been someone like had been a serial killer because like in the time after like around that time there had been multiple people like locals, women and children who had died within the area.
Mhm.
So it's like, is that also like a sign that it could have been a murder rather than, just them getting lost?
Mm. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And that one's a lot hard to prepare for. You can't really prepare yourself for that.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Sorry.
Oh.
So be careful. Always take a buddy. Maybe an extra one just in case.
5 or 6,
A
7 or
whole group, you know.
yeah, just go for it.
Yeah. But
Wow. Okay.
sorry.
Well,
Well,
I mean, now I know that 2014. Where was this
hmm
again? You said the net.
Panama.
Oh,
They were from somewhere.
okay.
Somewhere not here.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we live in the city, so I mean, not to say that it's safer, but I'm saying is,
It's hard to get lost in the forest in the city.
right. I mean, wherever I can find a forest here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. I mean, for those of you who like this stuff, let me know if you got chills. I got chills. I mean, I guess we should have told people in the very beginning, if you're listening to this at night, you might want to not do that.
You know, if you like to live on the wild side, that's also.
I mean, if you can take this stuff and you're probably laughing at me because you think this is ridiculous, then okay, so be it.
Yeah.
Sorry. But if you're like me and you got scared too, let me know I'm not alone. I mean, it's not so much scared, it's more just like the
Thinking like, oh, could that happen to me while I go
or your
hiking?
brain just starts imagining all these images that you were saying and it just looks
Yeah.
freakier.
I mean, I try to leave some of the scary, super scary stuff out, or like the not.
More?
It was just kind of gross. It was just one gross detail about.
Okay. No.
Yeah,
No, I mean, not
I
me.
didn't say it.
You can say it if you want, but I have to like plug my ears because then
No, it was just saying like how they knew that like somebody had died of one of the bodies was like died of natural causes and wasn't, you know, weird.
so they did die of natural causes.
See, well, like one of the bodies had like it would kind of decompose naturally. That was right, decompose naturally rather than what look like with that other body that had been bleached.
So then only one person was killed?
That's why it's so like weird because one was completely like decomposed naturally, the other one looked like something had happened with it.
That makes it sketchier.
Yeah,
I'm
who
getting
knows?
chills again. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, stay safe.
Yes, everyone. Hope you're good and have no nightmares or scary stuff.
Yeah, go watch a funny movie or something after
I'm
this.
gonna do that. I'll probably watch The Office or something that just like will make me
Yeah.
laugh. Not. Yep. Cause that was quite something.
But
Whew.
like if it was just me, it would have been a completely one-sided situation where, you know, it wouldn't be as entertaining with you on here.
Oh, I'm such a chicken.
That's okay. Some of these stories I listen to, I'm just like, oh no, I couldn't.
Oh
There's
wow.
one that like scares me that I want to tell you so bad, but
No,
I
but if we do that, it has to be in the morning.
we'll do it during the day.
Yeah, I can't because if it gets you like that and it's at night and right now I'm in my room alone and I kind of wish David were here. So yeah, I won't be able to do those really intense ones at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Cool. Well, like a heads up thing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this has been Dark Roast. Hopefully you can not you're not listening to this at night and you can make it through the rest of your day.
That's true.
But I think if you're listening to this, I think you're okay.
That is true.
All right.
But catch us
Bye-bye.
on the next one. We'll see. Wait, didn't you challenge me last time to try to make this one a positive one? Man, I failed.
Oh yeah.
Well, but I did say adventure, all of that. Just be safe. Whatever you do, be safe. Be on the lookout. Kind of like when they say when you're crossing the street, look both ways. That has nothing to do with hiking, but it just seemed appropriate. So
Okay.
on to the
That works.
all right,
Okay.
bye guys.
Bye guys.